James Tustin, Twitter.com. How y'all doing out there? We're going to talk some Angels baseball. The Angels winning 4 games in a row, 3 versus the Seattle Mariners and 1 versus the Los Angeles Dodgers last night. And real quick, what I'd like to talk about is the losing streak of the 6 games and some of the fans criticizing other fans when they're calling in concerned about the team and wanting to talk a little bit trades or Angels baseball. And one of the things that I want to start off with is the St. Louis Cardinals, the 3rd game versus the Angels. And when Albert Pujols hit that home run, those were all St. Louis Cardinals fans cheering. And while the radio stations locally want to play the Pujols home run and the cheering as if the team were coming back, as if those were Angel fans, those were Cardinal fans, number one, cheering their former player. And I thought at the time, talking trades, while Pujols' numbers were at 195, although did well that night and has been picking it up, I just wanted to find or ask a question. Would his former team take him back with half the contract? And most people answered no. But in my opinion, I think St. Louis Cardinals, while they're chasing the Chicago Cubs, if the agents were to work out a deal to pay for half the contract at 120, 130, I think the St. Louis Cardinals would have bought that contract. And the reason why I want to talk about this because I think it's important because everybody's been real soft on Roger Lodge's show, particularly Roger Lodge, and just absolutely soft. And now that the Angels have been winning, now he wants to kind of throw in all the tweets and all the other callers and kind of throw it in there while his show's so positive. He wants to talk about negative tweets. And I just feel as if fans are criticizing other fans in an unprofessional way because there's a difference between criticizing the team and the management for not winning 6 games and actually criticizing a player, number one. Number two, the Angels need to do what they have been doing this week in picking up players. And I want to talk about the management, Epier, Mike Scioscia, Ron Renicky, D. Sarcina. We have a new pitching coach. And I think the management this year has done an absolute spectacular job after that 6 game losing non-winning streak to win 4 games in the fashion the Angels won those games with power coming back in the last 7th, 8th, and 9th inning showed there is a lot of fight and a lot of character in the team that they have. Defense yesterday winning championships. Pettit with the bare hand to Giavatella with the force play with that play. Giavatella barehanding that ball, showing that the Angels infield with Escobar and Pujols at first base is one of the top infields in baseball. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was last week was all the other people talking trades and what the Angels should do and just kind of mentioning that Mike Trout. And I had to step in and say that why aren't the sports experts not talking about other players that have value to get other pitchers other than the franchise player? And everybody just seems to take it all wrong and criticizing Pujols when his numbers were at 195. I really think that we weren't really criticizing Albert Pujols as a player. We were talking about would his former team or another National League team pick up half his contract. Now that's about 120, 130, not 260 because he's already played here half the contract. Would another team accept and have Pujols on their team? And I think the answer is yes. And another thing I want to talk about is all this unfair criticism towards Albert Pujols. Constantly people talking about he's not the same Pujols as he was so many years ago, where I disagree. I think Pujols still has at least 88% of his old ability and 90% to be the same Albert Pujols. It's just a matter of where you're placing him on the lineup. And that's what I wanted to talk about was Friday night, Mike Scioscia had Calhoun 1, Trout 2, and Pujols 3 in the 9th inning. That seemed to be the X factor in the comeback. And on Saturday night, he had them 2 2, 3, and 4, with Escobar number 1. And why is Mike Socia changing the lineup Saturday and Sunday, although we won the game? Why is he changing the lineup after it seemed to work on Friday night? But I wasn't able to answer that or ask that question this week, because it just seems like all these fans want to act like everything is so nice and hunky-dory and, oh, we'll be okay. This team is very good, in my opinion. I've been an Angel fan since 1979, since I was young. And at the time, the Dodgers and the Angels were separate entities. It was the California Angels and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And that's another thing I'm going to talk about real quick, was last night at Dodger Stadium, one of the fans mentioning that there were some fights at Dodger Stadium over this issue, who's originally LA's team. And I really don't think it matters, because the history speaks for itself. The Angels played at Los Angeles before playing at the Big A in 1966. Before 1966, the Angels were playing at Los Angeles. And the former owner, Gene Autry, wanted to have a rivalry with the Dodgers, with the Angels, but there was no interleague play at the time. And the Angels were a new franchise. And at the time, the New York Yankees, Baltimore Orioles, and other teams were the top teams in the American League. And the Angels moving to Anaheim in 1966, in my opinion, I think the Angels should not be the Los Angeles Angels because of those situations at Dodger Stadium, fans being uncool. But there's also Angel fans I want to talk about. When I was at the stadium trying to get good pictures of Mike Trout, and then a fan trying to ruin the take when he knows that I'm trying to, get a, nice video. And also when I'm coming in the 6th inning, fans were leaving Angel Stadium, and then fans were leaving in the 7th inning, in the 8th inning, and then they were leaving in the 9th inning. And I went to that game because my Angels, I wanted to see my Angels. I knew what the score was, and the Angels were coming back, and I wanted to get a few innings late in the game. And I came in, I bought a ticket, and I think it's something that needs to be pointed out, that those were St. Louis Cardinal fans rooting for Albert Pujols that were in the stands late in the game. And that seems to be the turnaround game, when the Angels were just a base hit or a double from tying or winning that game versus Cardinals. And that showed the team had a lot of guts and fight in them, but needed personnel. And starting with the manager getting Shashin, and that's the key factor, is getting pitchers while we're able to pick up players. We need to add to this pitching staff. We need to add to the bullpen, and we need to add to the outfield, and we need to add to the catchers, and we just need to add to the core that we have. These fans saying that everything is okay. We can win the American League, but can we win the World Series? You'd be surprised how good I think the Angels can be this year, but it is up to the management to give them the players to go over the hump. Some teams have super pitchers, like the White Sox with Sale, with the Dodgers with Kershaw, the Bumgarner with the Giants winning World Series. I mean, we need to get at least 2 or 3 pitchers to build on our pitching staff. And these fans that want to act like everything is okay and nice, yeah, we'll be okay, but do you want to win? I want to win. And the only way you're going to win is you're going to have to talk baseball, Major League Baseball, and will the players be up to the challenge? And so far, the players have been up to the challenge. What I'd like to talk about on my next take is the Angels need to start considering moving their name from LA Angels to Anaheim Angels, or Southern California Angels, or even Orange County Angels. Anaheim would be the first choice. That was the name we won the World Series with. And the Ducks seem to be doing well with the Anaheim name. Won the Stanley Cup before the Kings did. The Angels have won the World Series more recently than the Dodgers. So these fans sitting here talking about who's LA's team, well, the Angels did play at Los Angeles in the 60s. And the Angels need to have, or the fans need to know or understand, to give them that respect in their different leagues. Now that we have interleague, the Angels were unsuccessful against the Cubs, unsuccessful against the Cardinals, but those 2 series have helped the team rebound against American League teams, and you need to start winning with the teams in your division: the Seattle Mariners, the Texas Rangers, the Houston Astros, and the Oakland A's. This is James Tustin, Twitter.com. You start by winning your division, winning in the playoffs, trying to get home field advantage, and then from there, it's up to your personnel and your management. Good job, Mike Scioscia, on after those 6 games. Ron Renicky, D. Sarcina, you guys have done a remarkable job with the team, and also Epier getting Shashin and picking up pitchers in the future is going to be the key for winning the pennant for the American League. James Tustin, Twitter.com.